Three years in the history of drum corps that everything changed. This corps was just such big innovators. In the first year, they pushed the boundaries of electronics and what we could do with them. In the second year, they said, "Here, tell you what, we're gonna come out, we're gonna do a show, and we're not gonna look like the corps that everybody thinks that we are." And in the third year, they put all of those pieces together with both costumes, audio sampling, and let's add a bunch of height and big props into the mix. Of course, we're talking about the BlueCoats 2015, 16, and 17. And this is going to be part one of a three-part series looking at those years with my friend over somewhere. I don't know which side it'll be on when the edit's done.
We're going to be talking about this corps next on the Marching Arts Network. Welcome back to the Marching Arts Network. I am the Stress Master.
And I am Kanan, also known as the Tumor. For those who don't know, just because I marched spot B9.
Yes. And you marched B9. I marched B10, B4, and then B1. Those are my numbers. I think you marched, didn't you march B2?
Yeah, so I was U6 my first year. And then I was B9 for a few years. And then I went B6 and B2.
Wow.
And then C1, C2, and C2.
In your later years,
later years, yes.
Your formative years. But we're here to talk about a corps that you guys all know, the BlueCoats. Amazing corps, very innovative. I think in the last 10 years, and that's what we're going to, or 11 years now. Actually, I'd say 12 years, because they actually introduced some large scale props in 2014 with their show Tilt.
Yeah, with the ramps.
The cantilever things, the ramps, yeah. But they really have been innovating this activity since then. And we're going to be talking about 3 formative years that we think were kind of like the turning point for not only the activity, but for the BlueCoats. So 2015, 16, general, and 17. Really. Yeah. I mean, audio, GE, and just ridiculously heightened props. I mean, which they abandoned the next year after that, by the way. But
yeah, and it's funny when we look at these shows. So the first one we're going to be looking at in this series, of course, is 2015. And I would argue that I think 2015 BlueCoats is the biggest robbery in the history of DCI. I actually think BlueCoats should have won in 2015. I actually think it's a bigger robbery than 1990 Star of Indiana.
Oh, okay.
You know,
yeah, because 90 Star is pretty cool.
But yeah, they are. Maybe you can have something going in the background here, but the thing is that when I look at 2015 BlueCoats, I actually put them in the same. That they didn't win in 2015 for the same reason that Star didn't win in 1990, is that they came out doing something so incredibly different, pushing boundaries and pushing envelopes, that I just don't think the judges actually knew how to judge them. They couldn't justify giving them that ring that year, even though I think it's a show that is aged very, very well.
Yeah, not only is it aged well, the innovation is just mind-boggling. Like the speakers on the field, the looping, the way that they use sound as kind of like their what's the word I'm trying to look for? It was basically like
their palette.
Their palette for coloring the show and making the show what it was. Yeah, that was exactly what I was looking for. But we're gonna let's break it down. So let me pull up the score or the repertoire first. We'll look at the score and then we'll watch the show, and then after we'll kind of break down the score and see like what happened, because, it is
Let's
what it
do
is.
it.
All right, so we're going to take a look at the repertoire and all of the fun stuff. So that year, Blue Devils won with a 97.65. You guys can see there it's called Ink. I'm trying to remember that show. I think they had the big, gigantic ink pen thing.
The books and everything on the field.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. I mean,
looking
great,
at this,
good
though,
show.
looking at this, I think that this year, this year in general was stacked.
Yeah, it was very stacked.
I say that Bluecoats should have won, and I stand by that. But you could also say Carolina Crown should have won. And you know what? Ink is a really, really underrated show as well. I go back and watch that show, and there isn't a thing about that show I don't like.
Yeah.
A little interesting tidbit that a lot of people may not know about Ink, though, is that the Blue Devils actually marched 154 members all season long.
Interesting, really.
Because at the end of the show, the little girl comes out of the book. I believe she was in the Sea Corps, and she was technically a member.
Oh, wow.
So there, she was the 155th member.
Is that, what was the rule back then for the maximum number?
155.
Oh, so they actually hit the max.
Yeah, so they
Wow.
marched one person short the whole season because they knew at the end of the year that their big final thing was going to be the little girl coming out of the book.
Yeah, having looked at this, I think Carolina Crown is not that Bluecoats shouldn't have, in your opinion, shouldn't have won, but I think Crown should have won that year. That show was an epic show. That was it. That was one of those shows that people talk about like as this most epic thing that was on the field. It was incredible. The visual was incredible. The story was incredible.
It was. I'll give you all of that, right?
Yeah.
But what I'll say about Crown in this year is the similar thing to Crown in, I think it was it 20? What year was it? 25, where they had the big. Was it this year where they had the big devil dude on them?
Yes.
It's the same thing in that to me, Carolina Crown 2015 Inferno was an absolutely excellent show. There's no question about that. But it lacked any color. What I mean by that is it was dark, and dark. There was no ebb and flow to the show for me. And I think that was the thing that held them back from winning the whole thing. Because I think when you look at the individual musicians and the performers, they could perform and they could probably outperform everybody on the field every night of the summer. But if you don't have that show that's got moments of light and dark, and those moments of light and dark just weren't in that show.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's safe to say all three of these quarters, and you can see how close they are. Like 7/10 is really, really close.
Don't forget Cadets as well, the power of 10.
Yeah, that's true.
One of the most epic endings ever.
That's true. So let's say top four could have won at night.
220 beats a minute they were at the end of that.
Yes, that was insanity. But I mean, the 2000, I mean, for me, 14, 15, and 16 were just, even 17 were just amazing years for drum corps. There were just some cool stuff happening all over the place. And that's why we're talking about it now, because I think Carolina Crown, should have won. You think Bluecoats should have won, and Blue Devils did win. So,
but there was nobody on the field that year that pushed the envelope as much as the 2015 Bluecoats.
True. In terms of audio,
they could have gone in the tank with this show. If the judges didn't like it, they could have gone in the tank with it.
True. And we're going to look at all the recaps for those watching. We're going to look at all the recaps and see where everything broke down. And I guarantee we're going to see like Blue Devils winning visual, and then Carolina Crown winning this, and then Bluecoats winning this, and then we're going to kind of see where everything lines out. But let's go ahead and get to the video.
Yeah,
Okay, I really like his uniform. It's so awesome.
I love this era of Bluecoats uniforms, and I don't dislike costumes, but I do miss uniforms. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
Not only do I like this uniform, whoever their tailor was should have gotten an award as well, because they all look good. Tubas. And I'll tell you what, this era of BlueCoats as well, something that's often overlooked is nobody used tubas as well as the BlueCoats did as well, and still do, I would argue.
Yeah, they do. They use them very well, and they stage them properly. This is where the looping's coming in, right?
Yep.
That is trippy.
Just that signature BlueCoats sound.
Yeah.
Nobody has a brass sound like that.
The one thing I am noticing, though, maybe it's the mics where the mics are placed, but the baritones sometimes like come out really hard and then they go away.
I think that's
just
mic
mics.
placement.
Yeah.
Now, this show's called Kinetic Noise. I would actually say it's almost kinetic movement as well, because there's always something going on, which is, again, I think it's a design trademark, if you will, of the BlueCoats. They've always got something interesting to look at. Nice.
There's double tonguing there. I mean, look at the visual with the standard uniform.
Nice rifles.
I mean, so much nicer, like visually looking with consistent like color.
Yep. And a term that I've kind of coined on this channel is visual velocity. There's a lot of visual velocity in this show as well.
Yeah, I think it goes back to your thing of kinetic movement. It's like consistently kinetically building and moving.
It's like they need the movement to develop the energy for the audio element of the program. All the parts intertwine with each other, and they're all dependent upon each other.
Wow, guard work there. Oh my gosh. The only thing that's a little bit for me on the guard and it's the flags are so busy, they're kind of counteracting the uniforms. They're not contradictory enough for me, but that's just a minor thing. They're still amazing.
Love this tuba part too.
Jeez. That's the
here's the
speakers on the
looping.
field. Yeah.
Well, they're not actually looping. What they're doing is they're actually playing into the microphones, but each pod, if you will. So what you can't tell from the video is that that sound is moving through the field. But I couldn't tell there if that was
I was gonna say, it's moving from speaker to speaker. Is that what you're saying? Gotcha. That's almost like reminds me of 92 Crossman. Bum 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 bum. You know that thematic, that melodic line. Didn't mean to cut you off there. Now those are cool props. I love that stuff. come up with cool uses for things. And
Yeah, absolutely.
once again, the movement, I think those atoms or whatever they're supposed to be are just supposed to be like,
I believe this is a Hymn of Axiom, which is just a lovely, lovely piece of music.
sorry, I'm just trying to listen. I want to hear all the parts. So good, that baritone sound.
It's just such a beautiful ensemble brass sound.
The BlueCoats have really, I think, taken the activity and just really changed the way that people design shows, because they find the most abstract music and from like unknown artists or artists that are just in a different genre, just bringing in a drum corps, man.
Yeah, no question at all. That's cool there with the muted trumpets.
Yeah. I remember watching this. This is when I think Flow Marching was just really starting, like 14 and 15 and stuff.
Great lower body movement there as well.
Yeah. This was such a cool show to watch, like as it happening.
Go on, tubas, you guys are moving.
Yeah.
Lovely dynamics in the snares there.
Wow. Bass drums. Holy crap.
Normally wears his curly hair long. He has a ruddy complexion for all shoulders and his barrel suggested.
Damn.
Musically graduate.
They're tuned really well.
And sculptor. Normally wears his hair long.
I mean, we're not drum guys, but this is some cool stuff.
Yeah.
Damn.
That's just cool.
And I like the vibe, the little boom, 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 you know, the little drive going on.
Yep. But again, see what I meant though about light and dark though. I mean, that was quite dark, and then we've got the light here with the trumpets.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree. I mean, if we could ever watch a Carolina Crown show on this channel, we could actually talk about Inferno.
Well, there is that as well, isn't there?
But I mean,
Man, those snares are playing some notes too.
Dude, like you can hear it just like precision.
Nice guard work in the middle there too.
Yeah.
Now we're going back to the motif from the beginning.
Yeah, running. Wow.
Ladies and gentlemen, under the direction of David Glasgow, the Bluecoats.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Okay, so I was
one thing I'd
checking
like to talk about is
Go ahead.
one thing I'd like to talk about is that drum major. Actually, I believe his name is still Willie Beanstra. I think it is something like that. What a great! I mean, I think drum majors are often overlooked, but I think a showman drum major, but a showman drum major that can conduct, can make a massive difference. And that's all I'm going to say about that. If you know, you know.
And energy levels and stuff like that, right? Yeah. That's kind of one of the things whenever I would help a drum major, like teaching and stuff like that, it's all about the presentation of you giving the energy to the group, and the group gives you the energy back and to the audience, right? And that's one of the things I always used to like, use your body, move, like lean in, do certain things. Yeah, like I that drum major from the beginning, he's like, yeah, let's do this, like let's go.
He had a swagger to him. So no, I love that show. I love how much they pushed. So let's have a look at the recaps and see.
Let's pull that up. All right, we're going to take a look. You know what? Let's go back and look at semis first, and then we'll jump to finals, because it's always interesting to see kind of like what happened between the two. Well, look at this. Look who's in first place.
Yeah,
I didn't even know that. By a 1.15.
500ths of a point.
Looks like percussion is where they were in fifth place. I'm wondering if that's what was the difference.
Always been the Achilles heel of Carolina Crown is percussion.
But let's look here. So we got the GE score, 19.4 to a 19.35. Bluecoats with a 19.05. So Carolina Crown in first, Blue Devils in second, and then Bluecoats in third. So no change for the Bluecoats. 38.85 to a 38.45, 38. So really close. Look at that, 6.65. Visual, Blue Devils, of course, in first with a 29.25. Carolina Crown in second, but they did get performance. They got third in analysis, though. So once again, this is semifinals. So we're not trying to get confused. We're just trying to see like the differences in the top three to the finals of the top three.
Now, here's something I found quite interesting that's often forgotten about is look at brass.
Oh, yeah.
Cadets won brass.
Holy crap, 19.7. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Good for them.
Cadets were the classic objects in the rear in the mirror closer than they appear.
Yeah. Look at that.
So I know. So our brass caption head was on the cadet staff in our brass caption head at Kidsgrove. A chap called Craig Walker was on the cadet staff in that year in 2015 and 2016. And I remember him saying those 2 years, it was a case of that if they'd had another week of the season.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Unfortunately, time is
but
not
getting
your
back to the
friend.
core at hand. So yeah, so we had pretty much threes across the board.
Yeah.
So third in GE, third in visual, and third in music. And then we jump forward to finals, and where are we? Third. We moved up to second in visual,
Yeah. Yeah. Look at that.
and we
Yeah.
yeah, and so
Fourth
what
in
was that? Fourth.
brass. Wow.
Yeah. Again, look who won brass at finals.
Yeah,
The
cadets.
19-8, the cadets.
But they got fourth in
So
analysis. Interesting. Interesting.
nothing was miles out. I think it was just a case of a rank and rate, really. And at the end of the day, I think when it came down to it, I think that what the Blue Devils and what Carolina Crown put onto the field was easier for the judges to analyze, is what I think it
Yeah.
ultimately boiled down to.
Yeah. And look at they won percussion. So BlueCoats won percussion, 19-7. Now that was a pretty darn good performance that we just saw, because we were talking about that, I think, more than some of the other elements. And then third from percussion too, so they equaled out in the second place, but overall it was Blue Devils who won percussion. 29.4 for music, 29.175 at 29. So everybody was extremely close. Extremely close.
Yeah, it was just one of those. And I think that, like I said, I think that the key difference here, though, is that if you look at these 12 cores, and there's one core on that sheet that jumps out by a mile as just doing something absolutely different, and that is the BlueCoats.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that made them inherently difficult to judge.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you totally, and I think you're right. I think that was just kind of like the same case with Star, even Star 93. It's like this was something brand new, and they're like, what? How are we supposed to judge this? How are we supposed to look at this from a perspective of, like, we've never seen this before? How are we going to judge it? And I think that kind of happened with Kinetic Noise too.
Now, would that happen today? I don't think it would as much, because we're so used to cores coming out doing absolutely crazy stuff now.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody came out with bloody pyrotechnics and flamethrowers next year, it wouldn't surprise me, and I don't think it would affect them in any way negatively at this point. So
yeah, I totally agree.
But that's where the activity has gotten to now, thanks to what we're looking at here.
Yeah, the BlueCoats, absolutely. And I think it's really, I mean, honestly, I know your stance is they should have won. I don't, and I'll tell you why. Visually, I don't think they were as clean. I think musically they were good. Percussion was amazing. You saw the percussion performance. That was a good percussion performance there.
Yeah.
I just think there was some, it's also learning curve for them too, with all this stuff. The first time they're putting speakers on the field and doing
absolutely
noise.
To your point on visual, I would disagree slightly. I would say that the Blue Devils moved really, really well.
They always move
but
well.
I don't think they always do. I don't think anybody had the visual demand that BlueCoats had, though. They were using 80 yards of that field for 90% of that show.
Yeah, I don't know. I think if you watch Crown, you might feel a little different, because it's been over a decade, and I had to watch Crown again to kind of really understand like what I was like comparing, because I did. So what I was doing on my phone, so you guys saw me on my phone, I was looking to I was like, I could have sworn I did a reaction to Blue Devils, and I did, and it was 7 months ago, so I'll put it up here in the corner if you guys want to watch it. I did Blue Devils Inc. I have done Inferno reactions probably 3 different times, and I tried to put them up 3 different times, and every time they get blocked. So there's no way I can
haven't figured out. As a channel, we haven't figured out the magic formula to be able to put Carolina Crown stuff up. Other people can for some reason, but we can't. But
yeah,
anyway, it is what it is, and that was, folks, 2015 BlueCoats and Kinetic Noise. What I'd say is give us your thoughts in the comments below, and while you're down there, if you happen to not be a subscriber, if you do us a solid and hit the subscribe button, we'd really appreciate it. And
absolutely,
you can buy a t-shirt as well. You can buy the old Marching Arts shirt if you want, although we have a new logo, as you can see.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I love the show. Let's look at 2016 next, shall we?
Yeah, we're going to get on that next. But until then, you know exactly what to do.
No matter who you're doing it with, no matter when you're doing it, no matter how you're doing it, no matter where you're doing it, just when you're doing it, make sure that you, of course, march on. Ciao.
March on. We'll see you on the next one, which is coming up real soon. So don't miss it.